Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to BBallBreakdown and the starting five with my man, Ben Heisler. Ben, it's great to see you. It's been way too long.
It's what we do, Coach. We have these conversations, we dive right in, and then, of course, the playoffs. For me out here in Kansas City, baseball starts to take over, but it's good to be with you again. And let's dive right in. The news came out today about Kevin Love, likely done for the postseason, and the situation gets a little bit worse for Cleveland with J.R. Smith missing likely the first. Actually, he will be missing the first two games of their upcoming series in round two. When you look at the Cavs, obviously they were the hands-on favorite to walk out of the East, but do you have any real concern, especially now that Love is gone and now that J.R. Smith is going to be gone for two games?
Absolutely. Remember, when you take out two starters, no matter how good your bench is or what you can do, there's going to be an adjustment period. And the Bulls, if they make it, can certainly give them enough problems where they could sneak a couple of those games out. And if you fall down to Love after losing games at home, no pun intended, then you're going to have some serious troubles winning that series. So they're in some dire straits right now.
I think the problem, though, is that the teams that they're going to be facing, and again, it's likely going to be Chicago. Obviously, Milwaukee's had something else to say over the past couple of days. They still have LeBron. They still have Kyrie. Mozgov, I think, has been solid so far inside, controlling the post. I think the only real advantage that Chicago would have is that now that Love is gone, I think as long as they can use Mirotic well and be able to use him as a stretch four to be able to go inside and outside, that creates a nice little mismatch. But I just see too much talent on Cleveland and unfortunately not enough from Chicago for them to really put up a huge fight.
You know, their pickups were huge already this year just because it helped them get their team solidified. But now, because they have Shumpert who can come in and play, and they're going to have to put LeBron at the power forward a little bit, even though it seems like he doesn't want to do that. And you're right, putting him there makes them probably more lethal than having Kevin Love in the lineup to some degree. And so I think that Tristan Thompson, if he gets more minutes, is going to give a lot of problems to the Bulls, just like we're seeing Henson and some of the long, big guys in the Bucks giving them problems as well.
So if you're David Blatt, you're using much more Tristan Thompson to create a lot more mismatches.
I mean, I have to imagine he's going to get a lot of those minutes, but they're talking about like James Jones going in there, or even throw Shumpert out there, let him play the four maybe on defense, but then let LeBron be that guy on offense, the point forward. And you're right, it's still, they pose a lot more problems probably to the Bulls than the Bulls pose to them.
I will say, though, if the Bulls end up making it through, and hopefully they do, because I think it's just a much more intriguing matchup than them versus the Bucks. Shumpert may be a guy that can take out Jimmy Butler a little bit, although he's been so good in the postseason. And let's continue, Coach, into topic number two, which is the rest of the East. Right now you have the Bulls. They were up 3-0 in the series. They're struggling right now to put Milwaukee away. Brooklyn, for some reason, has just gone and taken a shovel, and they've dug out the old Darren Williams over the past two games, and they've tied up the series with Atlanta. And the Raptors just absolutely demolished by Washington. I guess with those three stories, which of them do you think has surprised you the most?
You know, it's a great question. I'm not surprised by the Raptors, honestly. I had been looking at them during the regular season a little bit and was never quite sure how they had a top-ranked offense or such a high-ranked offense because it just didn't seem like it flowed real well. They had a lot of tough shots, and I think that bore out in the playoffs for you there. So that wasn't a surprise. Certainly, Darren Williams last night shocked everybody, and I had just gotten done ripping him to shreds for his Game 3 performance or his first Game 1, 2, and 3 performance. So I wonder if I should rip somebody else to see if the next game they're going to go off like that because that was a once-in-a-lifetime performance from him. So I got to say that that's probably the most surprising of all of them.
I still expected the Wizards to win the series, but I looked at that particular matchup in the East, and I said to myself, okay, this is the one that's for sure going to go at least 6, maybe 7, because I thought the Raptors would at least put up a fight, especially at home. To Washington, they were completely mismatched. Wall had a great series. Paul Pierce started to come back to life, and Lowry was hurt a little bit. I understand that, but really disappointing series for Toronto back-to-back years of just really not showing up in the postseason. As far as Darren Williams is concerned, this is the guy that they paid the max money for. And it's a shame that it took until Game 4 of the first round of the NBA playoffs for him to be able to step up. I mean, we were talking about the Nets earlier on earlier episodes of the starting five, Nick, and we were trying to figure out whether Brook Lopez was going to remain there, what's been happening with Darren Williams, is Lionel Hollins going to only last a year? And they're really playing Atlanta hard, and I'm starting to wonder whether or not it's starting to look more like a mirage for the Atlanta Hawks after these first few games.
Well, I don't think we have to get too excited in Brooklyn because think about it this way. They just had a transcendent performance by their starting point guard, and they took them to overtime where they could barely win against the Hawks. Remember, the Hawks are still a better team. They're the higher seed. They have the home court advantage. So, that doesn't indicate too much, to me. That said, the Hawks better get some better flow and some easier shots out of their offense more consistently, or else they're going to have a hard time advancing.